we are talking with Chiara. Chiara once was a call center operator, never thought she would like garlic, and has a large collection of books, even though she claims she's a minimalist. So today, Chiara is sharing about Bali. Welcome, Chiara.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi.
Hi. So Chiara, tell us, I'm starting the timer. We have 7 minutes. And so tell us why you chose to go to Bali.
So Bali was part of a round the world trip that my husband and I planned. So we live in Portland now, but we used to live in San Francisco. And we said, like, let's spend like 3 years here, save some money, and then do a round the world trip. Beautiful. So we had to choose our destinations. And we were undecided because Bali is very touristy and we like more off the beaten path. But of course, there are things that you still want to see. Like if you go to Paris, you want to see the Tour Eiffel. So there are things that you still want to see. So Bali was like, we weren't sure. But in the end, we were like, let's go and just, it's such a beautiful place. We'll find our spot. And so we added to the itinerary. And this was 4 years ago. And so, it was part of this trip, and we tried to book like areas that were not, there's an area that is very touristy called Kuta, where most people go. So we tried to just book a little bit further away, but obviously like we didn't have time to see all the islands, like the non-touristy spots are like in the north. So we traveled a little bit by car, but like didn't have obviously time to see all the islands, but we tried to, like when we were in Ubud, for example, it became very famous because of the book Eat, Pray, and Love. We tried to stay in the rice paddies. They're a little bit further away from downtown.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that sounds incredible. So how long were you actually did you allocate for Bali when you planned it? Or did you kind of just decide to go there and see how it felt and stay?
This is interesting because we initially did like 2 weeks. And then we went to another island called Lombok, another island in Indonesia, but the atmosphere was completely different. It was more poor, like darker in a way that you could see the poverty close to restaurants. It was like disturbing a little bit, like how poor it was. And we just didn't feel comfortable. We had bad experiences there. And so we went back to Bali. So we kind of like went back to that peaceful island. So for another, I think, week or another 15 days. So it got split in 2. But we weren't supposed to go back. I think we were just tired of the other island and went back to Bali.
So you spent quite a bit of time there. So did you get a chance to meet locals or interact with the folks there, some of the local people in Bali? Or was it just around other tourists?
No, I mean, we loved when we rented the car to go see places, especially temples. We had quite some time to talk to the drivers and learn a little, because I spoke a little bit of English, learn about the culture, and we talked for a while with the guide who took us to this like beautiful, the Mother Temple is like one of the biggest. And we had like some time to talk to him. And it was beautiful. I'll always remember what he said about us and like the Western world. He said like, we don't get why you make wars, because of different religions. Here we have like different religions and we live in peace. We just don't get it. And it just felt so refreshing. I was like, wow, Bali is this like microcosmos that everybody should like take it as an example to live in a peaceful society.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that is really, really beautiful. So tell us about a day you think you took like probably the most photographs or wish you had a camera to capture the beauty of what you were seeing.
Oh my God, it's like we were so lucky when we went to this temple that was a little bit further away. And there is a place called Heaven's Gate. And I think it's one of the photos that I sent you. It's beautiful. It's like this gate, and when you look at it, you can see the volcano. And it was a beautiful sunny day, and so we were really lucky with the weather too. And I could have stayed there like, I don't know, just hours looking at this beautiful gate, overlooking the volcano. I took so many photos of that gate, like always the kind of same photos because I couldn't stop. And I usually try to be in the moment and not taking too many photos, but I really wanted to capture that moment. It's just gorgeous.
Oh, wow. That
Wow.
sounds amazing. And that's one of the reasons I would have Bali on my list as well. It's just the beauty there. It sounds like it's amazing. So about the food, we always ask a little bit about the food. Was there some fantastic food, meals, or dishes that you ate when you were there?
Yeah, I mean, the food is very simple. I wouldn't say there's like a specific dish that I remember. But it's like, there's something, I don't know if I remember the name, Gora something, like with like noodles,
Okay.
an egg and veggies. It's just very simple.
Sounds sweet.
And we always try to choose like really small restaurants when we travel. So we found this family restaurant. I remember there was like a small menu, but we tried kind of everything on the menu, and it was just like really simple but really flavorful, and just like really comforting food. Yeah, we really enjoyed the food there.
Wonderful.
Oh, that sounds fabulous. I love trying all the local things and just being open to what they serve me, put it down, let me sample everything.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, I think, that you got around by renting a car a little bit. So what's the driving like there? I mean, like I said, I know nothing about Bali yet.
It was, well, that's the part where you have to kind of be able to negotiate a little bit, because they know that they try to rip off tourists, like in many touristy locations that are a little bit more poor in that sense. So you have to be kind of like smart in that way, because they'll try to charge you more. But we were lucky because in the place where we stayed, in the Airbnb where we stayed, there was this couple, and she could speak the language, the local language. And so she taught us, and she said, like, you should pay this price. And, I have a blog where I wrote everything. So I'm pretty sure, like, I wrote the specific price that you should pay for a drive, because it's interesting to know exactly, like, hey, no, this is what I should pay. And so if you're able to negotiate, that's the first step. And then people are just very nice, and you can you rent a car for the day. They take you to these temples, they drop you off, they give you tips, and they're like, oh, and you just have to be open, right? Like, they say, let's go to see this temple, yeah, of course, yeah, take us whatever.
So when you're renting a car, you're talking about somebody that's driving you as well, right? So,
yeah.
So you're not self-driving, they're driving you there.
No. It's more like, I feel like I say more renting, because you can really rent it for the day. You can rent the driver and the car for the day.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, that's how it was for me in Belize too. There's a lot of places that do that, where you just get the driver and the car, and like you said, then they have suggestions like, have you been here? And you're like, no, let's go there, right?
Oh, that's fabulous. Oh my gosh.
Always be open when you travel to just things that come to you.
Say yes. Yep, I love it. That's so wonderful. So that's our 7 minutes, Chiara. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. It was great. Beautiful stories about the drivers and the locals. I really enjoyed that. So travel with us through real stories from real people. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.